Sashi Puki Jushi Metok Drum Rihabling Shi Niende Yembadi Sangye Shingdu Mikte Uwargi Dokun Namdak Shingla Juparsho Iyam Guru Radna Mandalakam Niryatayami Sangye Chidam Zogi Jognam La Jangju Bardu Dagni Gyapsuchi Dagi Chunyen Gipe Sunamki Drola Benchir Sangye Druparsho Sangye Chidam Zogi Jognam La Jangju Bardu Dagni Gyapsuchi Dagi Chunyen Gipe Sunamki Drola Benchir Sangye Druparsho Sangye Chidam Zogi Jognam La Jangju Bardu Dagni Gyapsuchi Dagi Chunyen Gipe Sunamki Drola Benchir Sangye Druparsho.
It's spreading.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think so.
We're going to be at a long-term retreat. So all of
Yeah, don't worry about it. It's fine.
All right. I'd like to welcome Christopher, who's observing today.
Hey.
Hi, welcome.
He's a long-term refugee.
Long-term refugee.
Your
Oh,
mic.
microphone. Microphone. Is it on? Is the receiver?
Profanate.
Okay.
Yeah.
Battery's okay?
It's on
Yeah,
it's 4 bucks.
Okay, thank you.
This one's done.
Okay.
That's good for you too.
Oh,
For now.
forget it.
For now.
Add that one to mine.
Okay. We said I don't exactly know what a shindok is, but let's learn it by osmosis from the text. Okay.
Okay, cool.
It's something you want to read?
Kachignare,
Yeah.
Nopoi Shidok Yena,
Heavy prenatal.
Shindok,
Yeah.
Nopoi Shindok Yena, Nopoi Dopa Yimbe Kyapserna.
Yeah, whatever that means. Okay, dopa means reverse, right? So maybe it's like Mayambale Lopa.
Okay.
Okay. And this could be the Chichen. Let's see. Okay.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Draftichin.
Yeah, consider sound.
Nopoi Dopa Yimbata.
Are you telling me it's... I believe it's the opposite of all this, not Ngopo.
Okay.
Which would be?
Mm,
Ngopo. Okay,
Yeah.
good. That's a trick question. Because it is a Ngopo Shindok. So Shindok now looks like it means an example of.
Okay.
Okay, like it's a dopa Ngopo, but it's a specific dopa Ngopo. Like one of the dopas of Ngopo, as opposed to the dopa Ngopo. Okay? It's not the reverse of all. It's not the double flip pancake of all functioning things. It's the one of the double flip pancakes of all functioning things. Okay? Every time I talk about it, I get hungry. Okay?
Okay.
You just agreed that if it was a shindo, it had to be a dopa.
Dopa.
Meaning if it's one example of the double flip, it had to be the whole double flip. Okay?
Okay.
And he said, why do you say that? We said, well, you're the one who said that. Okay, now, Madhubna, if you don't agree that sound is a shindoku ngupo, a double flip, one of the double flips of ngupo, okay? Go ahead.
Ngupo shindo yimbartel?
Good, you're 1 for 1.
Two for two.
2 for 2. You're like my gopher. It's like 5. It's like 5 to 0. I gave up. I think he's sleeping for the winter, and I gave up. So it's kind of a truce.
That's a bit low.
Ngupo
Ngupo senshi yimbe.
Okay, so what's a senshi?
It's the classical example.
Good, great, beautiful. Okay, so apparently, if you're a classical example, you're a shindoku.
Okay.
Okay. So I would still say a case of the double flip, a case of the opposite of all that is not a functioning thing, a case of all that is not the opposite of all that is not a functioning thing. Okay. It's not too early, Yelena. It's short on that. She's like, oh. Just spot the emoji. Okay. It's hard, isn't it? So, we said sarcastically, so it must be the dopa ngopo because it's a shindoku ngopo. It must be the double pancake flip of the all ngopo, all functioning thing, because it's one pancake flip of all functioning things. Okay. Then if you agree to that ridiculous statement, go ahead.
Dachin.
Yeah.
Ngupo dokuma yimbartel?
Wow, 3 for 3. No, it's not. No, it's not the opposite of all. It's not all functioning things because it's.
Ngupo dang tade yimbe here because it's different from.
Yeah. Now here, when you hit tade in a logic text, there's a radical translation you might have to do. Okay, so lo chik, lo tade. It's not the same as chick and tade. Lo chick is not the same as chick, and lo tade is not the same as tade. So lo chick means, and here's how you have to translate it. And people translate it as single essence or something like that, and it's meaningless. And it doesn't mean that. Cars, Chevrolets are no chick with car.
To be one is to be.
Yeah, to be a Chevrolet is to be a car, and you have to translate it that way. If you say they are separate essences, it doesn't help anybody.
No.
They don't know what you're talking about. The point is, if it's one, it must be the other. This can be a subset of a set, or it can be an equal set. But then they're ngo tade, ngo ching. Okay. Then ngo tade means bananas and cars. Okay. To be a banana is not to be a car. But they're tade. You see, they're also tade, and cars are tade from Chevrolets. They're separate. You see what I mean? Ngo tade. They're separate things.
Okay.
So you got to be careful with tade. Okay. You got to be careful with ching. When it says dung, you got to be careful. So is it true that to be a... Is it true that to be sound is not to be a functioning thing?
Yeah, it is. It is because
If you're sound, you're not a functioning thing?
if you are, if you're the dopa of sound.
Is that what
No
it
boy
says?
dopa.
It's 2. We're doing 1 and 3.
Well, just treat this one. Is it the case that if you're a sound, you are not a mupo?
No, it's not the case.
Yeah, okay. So this tade, we can't read it as no tade. It has to be tade. Is sound separate from functioning things?
Yes.
Yeah, it is.
I guess it's a separate thing. Okay.
Yeah.
I guess we have to read it that way. So forget what I just
They're
said
not
about
kyab
this
yin
one.
nyam.
Huh?
They're not equal sets.
Yin Kim, no?
No, they're not.
Yin kyab
Yeah,
yin.
yeah.
Right. Yeah. So they're just
Take
same
banana.
because they're not equal sets.
Yeah.
Let's keep going.
That's about
This is a little uncomfortable, but let's see. Alright, go.
Kachignore. Ngopoe dundog yina.
I'm sorry. So if something is separate from ngupos,
Yeah.
it can't be the opposite of everything it's not. If something is separate from functioning things, it can't be the opposite of all that's not functioning things.
Okay, yeah.
It's a cheatin. It can't be the idea of functioning things.
Okay.
Okay. So apparently they're using the idea of the opposite of all that's not something as chitzen, meaning the archetype, the mental image of it. Okay.
But is
Looks like.
Ngopo Dokpa Tade from Ngopo?
Ah, no, that's a good question. What do you think?
I would say yes.
Is the opposite of all that's not a functioning thing separate from functioning things?
Well,
I would think so.
if one's a cheatin and one's a rangsan,
Exactly.
they're separate.
Well,
But
Yeah.
they're not one and the
flipping
same.
does something.
Right?
Yeah, to be one is not to be the other.
Right.
Exactly.
Okay.
Yeah, I thought you said that was a mental image.
Right.
The opposite
Yeah,
of all
right.
that's not
So
is the
apparently
same.
they'll be Tade, but let's see where they go. Let's see where the school goes. You never know. This is a pretty weird school. Okay. You can always say that, you know, you can't say it about your friends, but you can say it about Buddhist schools, you know. Just a weird school, you know. I don't know what he's talking about.
We'll see. It's his name.
Who can make sense? Go ahead.
Kachignore.
Yeah.
Ngopoe dundog yina. Ngopoe dokpa yimbe kyafsena.
Now you got a new idea, which is a dindok, right?
Dindok.
I don't know. I didn't study Dokpa. I'm just learning it. Okay, Kachik Nare. Dindok would mean the opposite of all that's not the meaning. Okay, the opposite of all that's not the meaning. But we don't know what that is yet. Hopefully we'll get an example. We'll get a counterexample here, okay? Apparently, you can be a Dokpa of a functioning thing, but not a Dindok of a functioning thing. Sorry, you can be a Dindok of a functioning thing, and not be the dopa of a functioning thing. Okay, you could be the meaning flip, but not the flip.
Okay.
Okay.
Something is the meaning though. Then.
Or din could mean object, which would mean a specific ngurpo.
Again,
Right.
isn't it saying that to be one, if you are one, then you are the
Yeah, but this is
Well,
that's
that's a
Kachi.
ser. Now, dinjin nipachuchin. Okay. Apparently,
got it.
that's the
because it's
dindok.
insane. Yeah.
Yeah. So, translate.
Because it's let's take something over just able to perform a function.
Yeah, let's take the ability to perform a function. Let's consider the ability to perform a function. Apparently that's a dundo.
Yeah, okay.
Okay, that's a flip of a meaning. Double flip of the meaning. Okay, of what? Functioning
Functioning
thing.
thing.
Okay, can do something. And apparently it's not the opposite of all that's not a functioning thing. Okay, because it's our counterexample.
Okay.
All right?
Yeah, that's helpful.
Anybody still following?
A little bit.
Last part again.
As much as possible.
Yeah, apparently it didn't. Apparently, the definition of something can be considered the opposite of all that's not its meaning. Okay, or in other words, its meaning as a archetype.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm tempted again to think that a dog is necessarily a chitzen, meaning an
Yeah.
idea such that a definition is necessarily the idea of a thing. To think a thing
You could say
as
that.
their definition makes them a dog.
Well, you could say Dinjanipit Dachachin, the sound of the definition.
Oh, well, that's... but that's not the definition. That's not the definition.
Well, you can have its definition without sound. Okay, anyway.
Whoa.
Yes.
Okay, so if something is
You
the
can't hear chichen.
if something is the pancake flip of the meaning of a thing, it's not necessarily the pancake flip of that thing. Okay.
Okay.
Are you telling me it's the pancake flip of a working thing? I know it's going to be a popular translation among Buddhist scholars to say pancake flip. You have to change it for each country.
Yeah,
Yo chow flip.
Yo job flip. Flipping of the roti.
Tortilla flip.
Okay, also tortilla flip. We decided. Okay, number dopa. Yimba.
Yimba tao. Yimba tao.
At 3 to 1.
Yeah, that sounded
Oh
like
wait,
you split
maybe
the
you're
difference,
right.
though.
He's right.
From the
No, I'm
kachik. It's
wrong.
from the kachik.
He's right. Yeah, he's right.
Oh.
Are you telling me it's the opposite of all? It's not the functioning thing, because it's the opposite of all. It's not the meaning of the thing. Okay. Okay, according to you, that was necessary. Okay. Madubna. Now he's gonna prove. Now he's gonna prove that Dunjanupa is the Dundo. So now we're gonna get the definition of Dundo. The opposite of all is not the meaning. The opposite of all is not the meaning. Okay.
So I can understand.
In Madhurna, Dunjanupa Chechen, consider the ability to perform a function. Mupa Dundo Yimba.
Yimba tao?
Damn,
Right.
you're hot today. Yes, it is the opposite of all. It's not the meaning of a functional thing because it's.
The definition of a functioning.
Yeah, it's the definition of functional thing. So all we learned so far is that Dundoks are Chinese. Maybe they're synonymous. I don't know.
Okay.
Yeah.
Are there any Dundoks that aren't Chinese?
Right.
That's a
Oh.
good question.
I'll probably find it.
Maybe.
Think about it really hard.
Is that debate
Well,
coming
you
up?
kind of got to think exactly what I was going to say. I bet you're right.
The definition, or
If it's
definition.
wrong, it'll come up.
So I'm doing that. If you agreed to our original sarcastic statement, our prasangika, our temgir, consider the ability to perform a function. So I wouldn't say able, I'd say the ability to perform a function. Okay. Ngopo dopa mayan.
Yimba tao?
Dang. I'm gonna stop asking you questions. Like word. You two cannot answer. Okay, otherwise I feel useless. Dopa Mayambatao? No, it's not the.
The opposite of all that's
Yeah.
not a working thing.
Yeah, good. Because it's not.
One in the same way.
Yeah,
Well,
one and the
it's
same
you.
is good, yeah. I'm glad you translated it that way. Okay. It's not one and the same. It's a good translation. It's a hard Tibetan to translate, okay?
So does it need a particle there? A working thing or just working thing?
As a working thing, yeah. Or you could say
Because
working
the quote,
thing.
that's what I
Yeah.
was thinking, and it took them out,
Yeah.
actually.
Madhubna, if you disagree that what's the Chichen? Dunjanupa is one and the same with functioning things, okay? If you disagree that the ability to perform a function is one and the same with functioning thing, is it one and the same?
Should be.
As working thing in quotes, then I guess.
Yeah.
It's not one
I
of the
just
same
didn't put
fucking
them.
thing.
Yeah.
Right,
No,
it's not one and the
it's
same.
not
because
one and
it's
the
the
same.
Tseni,
It's
not
not,
the
yeah.
Tsenshi.
It's the what? Senyi, not
It's the
the
Tseni, not the Tsenshi.
in nature, because it's separate from functioning thing.
Functioning
Functioning thing. No, it's not. Yes, it is. Consider performer a function. It is separate from functioning thing because it's its definition. So we learned that all definitions are separate from their.
They're
What's
the things that's going to be defined.
definindum in
The thing
Tibet? In
defined.
Tibetan.
The thing to be defined. Tsinja.
Tsenja.
Tsenja.
Dude.
Sunja,
Tsenja.
Tsenyi,
Tseni.
Tsenshi.
Tsenshi.
Okay, Sunja is the
Tsinja.
Tsenja.
thing to be defined, which is here
Working thing.
Working thing
functioning thing, working thing. Tsenyi,
is
The
the
definition.
definition.
able to perform a function, and then Senshi.
In the classical example, so
Sound.
what would be sound?
Yeah, good. Not all employees at the college. Okay.
Oh.
Dejinable.
That was a joke.
Dejinable.
Okay. My cap. Just because it's the definition doesn't mean it has to be separate from the thing. Okay? He said my cap. Then we said, come on, get one wrong. Just for fun. Okay? Kaba. Yaba.
Oh my God! Did we reach the end of Adam's?
Yeah.
We did.
We're yay! Adam,
And now we have
beautiful
something.
job.
That's
Yeah.
impressive.
Derek, I'm gonna trip you after class. Slow you down so I can catch up.
If it were one with, if it were one and the same as a functioning thing, it would have to be
The thing
the
to be
thing
defined.
defined. Yeah, the thing
Center.
defined. Yeah.
Good.
Now, Druna, if you disagree, take a functioning thing.
It is
If something were one and
one
the
and the
same
same with
as it in English.
as it with a
Yeah. We don't say with, right?
Q. Yeah. As it.
It must be
It must necessarily be the thing to
that
be
it,
defined
that it defines because
Good.
kids enjoy
because it is the thing to be defined.
Because it's a Tsenja.
This is tricky, okay? This
Yeah,
is
this is
greasy.
why I stopped.
Yeah, this is greasy. He changes levels. He changes hierarchies. Okay, let's do it slow. Consider working things. Okay, consider a working thing. If something is one and the same with it, it would have to be something defined because it is something defined.
That's good.
What's
Mhm.
it?
The working.
The working thing.
Yeah, working thing is now. We were talking about sound, right?
Mm.
But now he's switched chichens.
Okay.
Yeah.
But sound
So
was the
from the first
Tsenshi.
time we went through, we said it was the thing to be defined, and now you're saying something to be defined, which is much broader.
Yeah, you gotta get it from the context. Okay? You just gotta get it from the context.
So it is the broader thing.
They don't
we're
have
talking
A in Tibetan, you know.
about? So we're not talking about A, like the definition and.
Yeah, here,
We're just
personally,
talking
I would
about-
say something to be defined. Yeah. Because it's something to be defined. Okay, Kaching Nani. Now, somebody comes and says, the Bumbe, what is a Bumbe Dopa?
The opposite of all that is a coffee cup.
It's a
Shiktugyur.
it's a coffee cup, which is one and the same with a coffee cup.
Okay. Yeah.
What?
The coffee cup is one and the same. The opposite
Okay,
of all that's
so
not a coffee cup.
Somebody
is one
came
and
up
the
and
same with
said,
coffee
"Tell me what's a dopa? What's a dopa of a coffee cup, for example?"
The opposite of a coffee cup.
So we think of it as the opposite of all that's not the coffee cup,
Right.
which becomes the archetype of
Of a coffee cup.
and not an actual coffee cup.
Right.
And why are we studying this? Because maybe at some point they're the same.
Dude, Gyurdawa
You
here
know,
just means
maybe this is a picture coming from your mind.
And that's
Okay. Maybe it's coming out of seeds, your karmic seeds. You know. So at some point, maybe not in this school, but at some point, you know, you've got to have this wah wah moment. Moment. Where you say, "Oh my God, it's just a picture coming out of my mind." Okay. That's why they're flirting with these ideas. They want you at some point to say, "Whoa, there's no difference."
Gosh, dude, Gyurdawa here is just functioning as
Which is.
Okay.
Yeah. So he said the opposite of all that's not a coffee cup is a coffee cup, which is one and the same with coffee cup.
Alright.
Okay.
But which we don't agree with this, presumably.
Apparently we don't agree with it. Bumba dan chita gibbe bumba chiricha. Take a coffee cup, which is the same thing as a coffee cup. Okay. Take a coffee cup, which is the same thing as a coffee cup.
Okay.
No, it's not the opposite of all. It's not the coffee cup. Because it's not this, the one and the same with the coffee cup.
Yeah.
So we're just still establishing that the mental image
If
is
you disagree,
Gotcha.
consider a coffee cup, which is one and the same with a coffee cup.
which is
No, it's not one and the same with a coffee cup.
Yeah.
What?
oh
Wait, that
Mhm.
got weird for a second. Did we just lose a dopa?
yeah, we did.
Huh?
We dropped the dope, but now he's just talking about the coffee cup that's one and the same with the coffee cup and same, but that's not one and the
Like
same.
I
with the
want
coffee
that
cup.
just to be
Yeah,
this type
but I'm
or
gonna take
something.
my invitation. No, it's not exactly the same thing as a coffee cup.
It's not
Because it's not yin.
Because it's not yin kyap nyam.
I don't even know.
Coextent.
equal sets.
Okay.
Mhm.
Wait, no.
Could you use mutually inclusive for yin cat nom?
No.
Oh.
It's something like they cover the same things. Yin kyap nyam. They cover the same things.
Yeah.
Okay. They amount to they
I'm out.
they cover the I don't know amount to the same
Right.
things different.
Uh-huh.
They cover the same things. Then he says just because they cover the same things doesn't mean it can't be one and the same with a coffee cup. Okay.
Oy, oy, oy. Well,
Just because they don't cover the same thing.
Right.
give us an example. I hope.
Bumba church.
Hold on.
Let's take a coffee cup. Kyodan chikina, if something is one and the same with it. Kyodan yin kyam nyam yin
It does
bikara.
cover.
Equal extent.
They should cover the same
Equivalent.
things.
Uh-huh.
Then he gives this standard answer. It's like saying because it's not a fish or something.
Yeah. Kyoto Kansaki Kagumi.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Okay.
He did it earlier too.
Right.
Oh no.
Yeah.
And then I'll just move on.
Because it is one more example
Mhm.
of a thing which exists in a universe where people don't come from themselves.
Yeah.
Which is to say it exists.
Mhm.
Okay, so how you're going to translate this is tricky. Okay, it's not the fact that something is not the self that you thought it was about people, because it's a coffee cup. But what this line means, I mean, you have to figure out. I don't want you to say it literally like this, but what it means is, it's one more example of those things that exist in a universe where people don't exist self-existently, which is true of everything.
Mhm.
Okay. Whether it's true of things that don't exist, we have to talk about.
That's interesting.
Mhm.
They don't exist.
Well,
in the
This
universe.
don't exist. This don't
Yeah.
exist.
Yeah.
Okay.
That doesn't apply to
So this is just a catch-all. You could use it for
Yeah.
anything.
Yeah.
It's the equivalent to saying
because the sky's blue.
your picture.
Yeah, because it exists.
Because it exists. You see, it's the same thing as saying because it exists. It's a show-off way of saying it exists. Okay,
Mhm.
got it? Okay, it doesn't exist in a world where people come from their own side. It's the same as exist. Or you could say, yeah.
No,
It's something that exists in a world where people don't come from their own side. Kongi Makatsan.
Yeah.
Okay, this expression, Kongi Makyatsam La Dhamma Drupsena, if he had said Dhamma Drup at the point above where we said Kyap, Makyap.
Mhm.
So there's two possible answers to Yimbe Eche. Drachachemitate Chepiche. Dhamma Drup means I disagree. So Drachachemitate Chepiche is the classic example of all Buddhism.
Mhm.
Takes sound, it's
Permanent.
It's changing Chepiche.
Because it's made.
Yeah, because it's a made thing. And if you say Dhamma Drup, means sound is
Not me.
No,
not made. And if you say Kyawa Machu,
Sure.
Because it's made,
Necessarily
doesn't mean it's
the
changing.
Yeah.
Changing.
so here, if he had said Dhamma Drup above where we said where it's Makyam, okay, right here,
Mhm.
okay,
Mhm.
then we go a different way. You see, then the argument goes a different way. Okay, and when you do your rikchung, your pre-geshe, to qualify for the geshe exam, you have to do a chart. You're assigned a chart. It's a flow chart, and it's about 6 feet long, and you have to chart every possible permutation. So, in the first statement of your debate, you lose 50% of the chart. If he says Dhamma Drup, it goes this way. If he says Kava Machung, it goes that way. And then you paste it on your door and you memorize it. And so you can't go out of the door unless you memorize another piece. You know? So it's really disappointing when he gives his first reply. Then you're like, oh shit, I want to go that way. And it's a weird debate. All the monks get in the temple, and then your opponent gets 1/3 from the far wall on the left. And then you go 1/3 from the far wall on the right. And then you walk down separate aisles the whole length of the temple. And then you walk back and you keep going back and forth. And you argue over the heads of 1/3 of the monks. So 1/3 of the monks are on your right. 1/3 of the monks are between you and the opponent. And 1/3 of the monks are on his left. And then you argue over people's heads. I guess it's to keep everybody awake. You know? And then you stroll down the temple arguing over people's heads, and then you stroll back. And if you're not done, you stroll back again. And yeah.
Does your opponent also get a chart to memorize?
Then he takes the offense halfway through. And he gets to take the offense. But you're assigned a subject.
Different subjects from each other?
Yeah. No, it's probably the same.
So you're both doing pre-geshe?
Yeah. About only 12 people qualify. So probably half your class gets knocked out at that time. You know.
But both people could also.
Yeah, it's possible they could both qualify if they're good. And then they do this weird thing. It's brutal. You don't find out whether you got it or not. Then the next day, the Giku comes, the debate master, and he's got 12 pieces of paper in his hand, and he comes to the debate ground where everybody's there, not just your class, and you're not supposed to look at him. You see? So you're not allowed to look at him. And then he goes around and hands out 12 papers, and then everybody else failed. And it's very brutal. And then he's supposed to play a game. And he's supposed to walk up to the guy who didn't get it and go like this and then give it to the next guy. And it's like you're supposed to experience the 8 worldly thoughts in your mind. And you do. I remember, his hand went by. And I'm like, oh shit. And then the hand came back, and I'm like, no way. And then it presses the paper in my hand. I'm like, yeah.
Can you retry if you fail, or?
I don't know, people. I guess you can. You could drop down a class and try there, but it's kind of weird.
So what do they do if they fail?
You go work in the kitchen the rest of your life.
Oh God, that's dark.
Cloud fields.
Actually, you become an administrator.
That's worse.
So, no, you do the finances, or sometimes even the abbot.
Right, I was just gonna say.
Is not a scholar, because nobody scholar wants to be an abbot.
Right.
Although sometimes scholars are made abbots, like Ken Rinpoche. Okay, here we go. Bumba Danchik. Where were we?
We were doing Gangi Makyat.
Yeah, Gangi Makyat Samna. Where were we?
Oh, down.
Yeah.
This
that's
way?
it. Yeah, after Kyo Kansak.
Damn, Gangi Makyat Samna. If up above where we said Makyat, you change your answer and you say Tamadrup. Bumba Danchik to give it Bumba Chechen.
If take a coffee cup, which is one and the same with coffee cup.
Good. Bumba Dayin Kyab Nyam Mayambar.
Or same as, yeah.
Bumba Dayin Kyab Nyam Mayambar.
Mayambarta?
No, it's not. No, it doesn't cover the same things as a coffee cup. Because, wow. Kiryana, because if it's that, if something is that, meaning something which is one and the same with a coffee cup, okay? If you say this plastic glass works the same as a coffee cup, You know, it's essentially a coffee cup. You know, it's that idea. Okay. Kyuyina, Bumbayin Bekabadan, Bumbayina, Kyuyin Bekabanika, because it's not the case in both cases. Okay, it's not the case in both cases. Okay, it's not the case in both cases. What's both cases? Number one, if it were it would have to be a coffee cup. Okay, and case number two, if it were a coffee cup, it would have to be it. Okay.
Have to be one and the same with coffee
In
cup.
both cases, it's not there. Okay.
Oh, it's almost.
Maybe. It's,
Can you help us a little more with that one again?
neither case is true.
What are the two cases?
That's all. Yeah. Rere means nika means both. Rere ne means considered separately. Me. It's not there. Kyaba is not there.
What are the two cases?
It's this one. If it's it must be a coffee cup, and if it's a coffee cup, it must be it. Meaning this glass, which I said it works the same as a coffee cup.
Okay, but the second one's the problem. Right?
Let's see what it
because not all
says.
coffee cups are it.
Okay, you're Maduba. Okay.
Okay.
If you disagree, okay.
No, I think
Let's take a coffee cup, which is one and the same with a coffee cup. When you say one and the same, it means it's not the same.
Uh-huh.
Right.
It's the argument.
You know, it's the same thing means it's not the same thing.
Because you wouldn't have to,
Okay.
to say it if it was literally the same.
There wouldn't be a second thing to talk about if they were the one thing.
Uh-huh.
Okay.
Then how can it be Dangqi?
Yeah.
Yeah. Makes the phrase useful.
How can it be Dangchik and not be separate? You
It
know,
would be the same, you know.
he's the same as him,
Right.
which means they're separate.
Oh, God.
Let's think about it.
Okay.
Oh, we already covered that. Maybe because if something is a coffee cup, it's not the case that it has to be it.
One of the
Something which is one and the same with it, which implies separateness. A DUI conviction and a conviction for being drunk are one and the same thing, but they're not exactly the same thing.
So that
They're
one's the
equivalent. When you let's say equivalent.
same.
When you say equivalent, they have to be separate.
Yep. They're two separate things that are equivalent.
Okay.
Yeah. That makes sense.
Try that on for a while. Let's see how it goes.
I mean, if I say that Nick is one and the same with the guy that I call
Let's
Nicholas.
say equivalent.
Right, but if I say that he's Dangchik with the guy I call Nicholas.
Let's say equivalent. Yeah. Nick is equivalent to the guy you call Nick.
Well, in that case, I'm one and the same.
Yeah, but if but in one case, but if Nick is the equivalent to the guy I call Nicholas, then in one case I'm calling him a Nick, and in one case I'm calling him Nicholas.
Oh.
It's the same guy, but it's not the same to be calling him Nick and to be calling him Nicholas. So if I call it Dangchik, it's the thing being called Dangchik.
So maybe Dangchik has to be the same wording. Let's see. Bumbayina. There is no necessity. There is no necessity that if something is a
coffee cup,
it has to be something which is equivalent to a coffee cup. Because it cannot be equivalent to itself.
Right.
Oh.
You can't say it's equivalent to itself.
Right. Can be one and the same, but not.
Oh, that's
equivalent.
cool.
I'm going to say
It's
equivalent.
like X and
Let's use
It's
equivalent.
like
That's
X and
pretty
X
cool.
prime. Like X is equal to X prime.
Alright.
You know?
If you don't agree,
It can be equal.
Yeah.
if you don't agree, let's take a cerebrum.
Golden
Yeah,
coffee cup.
golden urn.
Golden coffee cup.
That's his next project. This coffee cannot be drunk in a normal.
It's gonna be at least gold.
It's not good to have a coffee cup which is worth less than the coffee. Okay. Maduna said, what you do? Take a gold vase,
I like what you're
gold. Bumba chiti kibe bumba yimba
Ibata?
No.
Oh,
Ibata.
Oh, are we back on the first statement?
Are you telling me it's equivalent? Are you telling me it's a coffee cup, which is equivalent to a coffee cup?
Oh.
What is?
So now
what
we're
is
going to go
the
to set and subset probably, right?
What's the
No, there you
chicha?
go. Take a golden
Okay, golden coffee.
coffee cup. Are you telling me it's a coffee cup, which is equivalent to a coffee cup?
How could it be? Because it isn't.
I thought we were talking about ceremonies.
Yeah, is this?
No, is it a boom? Okay, let's take their boom. Is it a boom which is equivalent to boom? You know, is it a coffee cup which is equivalent to a coffee cup?
No.
No, because it is a coffee cup.
Mm-hmm.
There it is, because it's a coffee cup.
Yeah.
Bumba Yimbecha. Oh, sorry. Are you telling me? I'm sorry. Bumba da Chitikiri Bumba Yimbata. Are you telling me it's a coffee cup which is equivalent to a coffee cup? Why? Because it's a coffee cup. I didn't say that. Yeah, you did. Kavake. You said it had to be that way. Kavake. You alright?
Mhm.
Just
Yeah.
nod.
Yeah.
Okay, you're
No,
alright.
no, come on.
You'll
we'll
figure it
get there.
out in Silverton in about 2 weeks.
Pretty good.
Madruna. Okay, then I disagree that it's a coffee cup.
Coffee cup.
Well, let's take a gold coffee cup. Bumba Yimba.
It is.
Tell?
Yeah, it's a coffee cup.
Uh-oh.
Do dir shepshun chukyor kitunche nipi
That
yimbe.
doesn't ring a bell.
This is the
Yeah,
You know
it's the
this thing?
definition of a coffee cup.
oh,
or
it's the definition of a bumba.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah, round and
It's
carries stuff.
bulbous,
Uh-huh.
flat,
It's
and can
very
hold
funny.
water.
So in logic, you got to define everything, and they even define coffee cup.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
It's Dharmakirti's definition. Master Dharmakirti.
Yeah. You got to define everything. So even define bumba,
Home beer.
water pitcher.
Chokyor.
And again, for Chris's benefit, water pitcher is one of the two classic examples in Buddhist arguments, because it would have been in every room where you had an argument, because they didn't have indoor plumbing. Okay, so you had to go to the well every morning, the student, and bring back water, and then they distributed it to each room in water pitchers. And some people translate this as vase, which doesn't make any sense, because if the teacher didn't like flowers, they wouldn't. No, the point is that there should be one in every room, because it's when you're trying to make a point and you're like desperate and you just point to what's there.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, what's the second classic example?
Kawa.
Pillar.
Kawa. Yeah, a pillar.
Coffee table.
Because they didn't have beams. They didn't have steel beams.
Mm-hmm.
All they had was short trees. So there were lots of kawas everywhere. Okay. In fact, the value of a temple is stated in how many kawas it has.
Mm-hmm.
We got a 23 kawa temple. Yeah, well, we got a 34th kawa temple.
Mm-hmm.
You know, how many pillars did the temple have? And they'll actually fight about it. If Sarah J builds one with 235 kawas, then Sarah May has to build one with 236 kawas. They'll actually tear down their own temple.
Whoa.
And,
They just made it the library.
Yeah.
Yeah.
okay, so let's. Todir means rounded belly. A rounded belly. This is the definition of vase. Sorry, water pitcher. Shabshum means flat base, flat bottom. Shab means leg, right?
Flat bottom.
Support. What do you call that? Bottom. Flat bottom. You know. Yeah. And chukyor, it should be able to hold water.
Hold water.
With a flat
Okay.
bottom.
Tinjanipa. That thing which functions, that thing which has a rounded belly and a flat bottom, just like me. Rounded belly and a flat bottom. Chukyor and which can function to hold water. My Kevna, wait, just because it has a round body and a flat bottom and can hold water doesn't mean it's a boomba. And we say, yeah, it does. Because do dir shum, right? This is misspelled.
You without the mouth.
Well, it's just parsed.
Yeah. Shum, chu, not
Yeah.
shu.
Yeah. Okay.
Oh, I see.
That's
Yeah.
pretty obvious.
And it's not obvious because chu means lips,
Oh.
and it's a possible spelling.
Mhm.
Anyway, yeah, because that's the tsenyi of a boomba. That's the definition of a water pitcher. If you agree to the above ridiculous statement, somewhere up here, Serbum Churchen, let's take a golden coffee cup. Yeah, this is kind of the one that we wanted. No, it's not a coffee cup, which is equivalent to a coffee cup.
How do you go from the definition of a real boomba to coffee cup in your translation?
That's his problem.
Yeah, right.
I
It
was
is.
just gonna say holds coffee instead of holds water.
Yeah, you're gonna be stuck. I'd say it has a handle.
Holds liquid.
Well, then there's
You
coffee
have to
cups
point
without
out that
handles.
you're changing.
Good luck.
You'd have to make that note at the beginning of this whole thing.
Yeah. Maybe you can come up with a definition of coffee cup if you guys work hard. You probably could charge the project for
It's
a couple
around
hours.
it,
We were deciding what's the definition of
We're
coffee.
gonna need a lot of coffee.
Yeah.
I really
No, it's
don't
not
find a way
a-
I can put
No,
that in my
yeah.
timesheet.
It can hold tea.
No, it's not a coffee cup, which is equivalent to a
burnt
coffee
tea.
cup.
Well,
Because it's not the same as a coffee cup.
So it's just
Because it's not the same as a coffee cup. Because it's not different from a coffee cup. If you disagree, take a gold coffee cup. No, are you telling me it's different from a coffee cup? Because it's a. Wait a minute.
He's saying it is different. Than a
I'm
coffee
sorry,
cup.
it is different. Than
So,
it's different from coffee cup because it's a gold coffee cup.
okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Yang kaching nani. Bumba danchi de bumba dobayin. Serna. Okay. The double pancake flip of coffee cup is something which is equivalent to coffee cup.
Wouldn't it just be the single
The
pancake
single
flip?
flip, right?
Say no. Well, we said dopa is
the
the
double.
opposite.
Yeah,
of
the
all
double.
that's-
necessarily
Yeah.
a double. Yeah.
The opposite. That's all that. The opposite of all
Right,
that's not a coffee cup is equivalent to a coffee cup.
Kauchik says.
If so.
Does it sound bad?
It's dopayin, not dopayin.
Is it?
He said
Well, we already showed that it's not.
the opposite of all this. I'm sorry.
Well, he said
That which is
What is it?
equivalent to a coffee cup
Uh-huh.
is the opposite of all that's not a coffee cup. How's that?
It's the opposite of all that is a coffee cup. There's no mind.
This is opposite
Right,
because it's
this
the
one.
dope.
Yeah,
the
yeah.
dope.
No, but dopa means a double flip already.
Right.
Opposite of all that's not.
This-
No, the word means opposite, but as a logic term, it means the opposite of all that's not.
Right.
Okay,
Okay.
it's kind of like a chutsen.
Slippery.
Okay,
Yeah.
now let's say it again.
Oh.
That which is equivalent to a coffee cup is what we mean when we say the opposite of all that's not a coffee cup. Okay, that which is equivalent to a coffee cup
Yeah.
is what
Okay.
we mean when we say the opposite of all that's not a coffee
Apparently
cup.
it isn't.
Then we say take that which is equivalent to a coffee cup. No, it's not the opposite of all that's not a coffee cup because it's not the
One and
same
the
as a
same
coffee cup.
3 minutes, Tesla.
Okay. Why was that different?
Now he says Bumba Danchik
Okay, fine.
is not Bumba Danchik.
Oh, that's not good. Now, come on.
This was
Surely we've gone too far now.
One time.
No, so they must be taken differently.
Yeah.
They must be taken differently. Okay.
What?
This is what you're saying, dong. Well, this dong teddy. Never mind.
Now you've gone too far.
Take that which is equivalent to a coffee cup. It's not equivalent to a coffee cup.
Oh,
Yeah,
no.
take quote
quote.
that which is equivalent to a coffee cup. It's not equivalent to a coffee cup.
Oh.
Yeah, okay.
Okay.
I can follow.
How about that?
Yeah,
Put quotes around one in your head.
yeah. I can
Put
follow
quotes
that.
around the first one in your head.
Badanchi is not
Take
Badanchi.
quote equivalent to a coffee
Mhm.
cup.
Okay.
That's not equivalent to a coffee cup.
Okay.
It's just some words. You okay? You got it?
I can follow
It's
that.
a.
Yeah.
He's playing with your archetypes.
Yeah.
He's giving you an archetype exercise.
Right.
If you don't agree, consider quote. I'll say quote. Let's see if it works. Equivalent to a coffee cup. No, it's not equivalent to a coffee cup because it's separate from a coffee cup.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
It is.
If you don't agree that it's separate from a coffee cup, take quote. Equivalent to a coffee cup.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, it's separate from a coffee cup because it's unchanging.
All right. Yeah.
Okay.
Good.
Yeah.
Is
Yeah,
it good?
now we're
Beautiful.
talking. Yeah, right. Cool.
The
If you
linchpin.
don't agree,
Fine, it's all fine.
That's
I'm
what we've been
okay
waiting
now.
for like
There's
3
the
days.
endorphins releasing into the blood. I'm okay.
if you don't agree, take a coffee cup.
Mhm.
Sorry, equivalent to a coffee cup is to an unchanging thing
Mhm.
Because it's
because it
established as
exists.
Yeah.
Whoa.
Because it's established as existing.
Okay, is this resolvable? And if you figure it out, I'll let you go.
Ooh.
You can have the pecan pie, one of the 4 pecan pies that B made for you guys
The
yesterday.
opposite of all its pecan pie.
Really?
Yeah, it's gonna destroy the
Okay.
mental functions of all.
It is too one and the same with
This is us.
One in
unchanging because it's established as existing.
Okay. Shiju.
I
I don't like that.
hope that's not archetypal.
Let's take it this way. If something, let's do a kaba from it.
Okay.
Let's do the J kab.
Okay.
If something exists,
Mm-hmm.
then equivalent to it is unchanging.
Oh.
Uh,
Equivalent to is unchanging.
Then being
Okay.
equivalent to it is
Yeah.
unchanging.
Chi-chi?
I'm good.
Okay, are we taking Shidru as in?
Yeah, no, that's your problem.
Okay.
Good luck. Do we take Shidu, but do we take it as a in quotation marks?
Yeah,
Or
is it
not?
right?
I don't think you need. I don't think it
Okay.
matters. I don't. That's why it's Shiju. You could do
Well,
it either
or all
way.
Shidrups.
Something
Dakpa.
being equivalent to
It's not
something is
Right.
Dakpa.
It is
Uh-huh.
because it's just an
Let's
idea.
let it go there.
Yeah.
It's good. 'Cause
Something
it's a
being
Ramsen, or a
equivalent to
Chitzen.
something is Dakpa.
That's what we've
Yeah.
learned. Yeah.
Because it's a chitzen.
Yeah.
Yeah, you could say that. It's a fact. You know,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
the fact that A is equivalent to B is unchanging. It never is not true.
Uh-huh.
Okay, it'll always be true.
So it's
Okay.
Chitzen is a fact, or is it the mental image? Or like,
Yeah.
Chitzen is a
Well,
fact.
I would say facts are one kind of chitzen.
Yeah.
uh-huh.
There's other ways.
I don't know if all chitzens are
Because
facts.
Chitzen and Dakpa and Kunzo Demba in this school are all the same.
Whoa. Maybe.
Because they're not functioning. They don't do anything.
What? Archetypes don't do anything?
Right.
Well, maybe not.
In this school. in this school, they don't.
Maybe not.
Yeah.
If
not
they're
mobiles.
Dakpa, they can't do anything.
Yeah, that's the thing.
But
It's over time vision. you see.
If a thing is unchanging, it can't be functioning.
That's
Okay.
the definition.
Mhm.
Yeah.
okay, in this school.
The non-functioning of husbands is unchanging. Let's put it that way.
This sounds
Just
hopeless
kidding.
when you put it like that.
Anyway, it's cool, and sit with it for a while. By the way, with this subject, you shouldn't expect to figure out every single one the first time, because it wouldn't be fun. And that means it's not very deep.
Mhm.
You know, you were complaining before when we were just rehashing things.
Yeah. Right.
Colors.
And now you're complaining because you don't understand anything. And, so I would prefer to be in a section where I'm not quite sure about it.
Mm-hmm.
And then you're learning something. The only nasty thing is when the carver made a mistake.
Mhm.
And a mayin is a yin, and a yin is a mayin, and is and is not, and an is not is an is, and then you bust your brains, and then you find another carving, and you find out he flipped it,
Right.
which is not uncommon.
Oh, it's
That's
horrible.
pretty
So
scary.
you can always
yeah.
blame the carver. I've seen cases where they blame the carver for about a week and then they decided the carver was correct. Okay, so
Be a
just
carver.
deal with it. If you could figure it out the first time, it wouldn't be very valuable. Okay. All right.
Thank you.
I'll sit with it.
That's awesome.
Sashi
Fuki Joshin Meto Tram Rira Blingshin Yende Nyambadi Samye Shingdu Mikte Owargi Jokun Namda Shingha Juparsho Nidam Guru Rana Mandala Kam Niryatayami
Yawad.
Di Gewokun Sunam Yeshe Tsotoshin Sunam Yeshe Lejungwe Dambar Kunyi Toparsho You'll be so cool in the monastery if you go shogi shogi. That's old man. He's old school.
These guys know the old style.
Thank you, Michelle.
We have a 6-minute break.